Hey, so glad you're here. Karen here from No Limits Business, and we're going to just talk about 5 quick steps to overcome self doubt in the moment. Now, this happens to all of us at some time. Becomes a problem when it happens more often than not. Now, when you're in a meeting or you're talking to your boss or talking to a vendor or a client, and you're on a roll, and all of a sudden some kind of little thought pops in and you have some doubt. And what I'm going to do is share with you 5 steps in how to get rid of that once and for all, and have some really real tools that you can use in the moment to stop that. Because here's the thing, self-doubt really just does kind of mess up everything, right? And as we let it stay in there, as we let it uh, kind of percolate with us, it starts to overtake over time. So you want to nip this in the bud as soon as possible. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to take a moment and think about the times when self-doubt creeps in the most for you. And actually, here I'm gonna actually do something fun. I'm gonna Katie Porter you. If you don't know who Katie Porter is, it's okay. It's good. It just means you're not spending too much time on politics. So it's probably a good thing. So first thing, what you want to do is, ta-da! You want to be looking for patterns, okay? Is there a pattern? So in those moments of self-doubt, is it with certain people? Is it at certain times? In meetings? Is it when you're discussing ideas? Is it with certain coworkers or vendors or clients? What is that pattern? I want you to pay attention to that, because once we can start to identify a pattern, we can prepare for it, all right? And so how do we prepare for it? Well, the next thing you want to do is you want to remember, here you go, remember or remind yourself of a time when you had a really great idea, okay? And you didn't act on it, or you didn't communicate it, you didn't say it, and you found out later that you were absolutely right. So we want you to start thinking about those, because what tends to happen, this is just the way the mind works, is we tend to think about things and we tend to remember things that are negative rather than positive. And it's just, it's a self-protection system, but it doesn't work for you so well when we're at work, right? And or in the moment when we're trying to impress other people, or we're trying to sell, or enroll somebody, or any of that. So what you want to do again is remind yourself of all those times that you were right, okay? Or somebody actually else, they had produced the idea, and everybody applauded and said, "Yeah, that's a great idea," and then again it worked out. So what that does is when you start to do this, it starts to give you confidence, okay? And I really want you to acknowledge that for yourself, is start to acknowledge when you were right. You had great ideas, and you may not have acted on it at the moment, or have poo-pooed it for yourself, and you didn't go forward, or somebody might have had some kind of objection, or even just a question, and you backed off. I want you to remember and remind yourself of when you were actually right. Okay, so that's step number 2. Number 3 is I want you to own it. Okay, um, own it. Own your ideas. Own those great moments of inspiration that have popped up for you. Here's the thing: it's not only that it comes from inspiration. It could that whatever you were trying to share or going to share, it might have come from experience. So you had experience in it, but then somehow in that moment, it didn't feel like you could share that. It didn't feel quite right, and it was out of fear, not out of kind of reading the moment, but it really was out of fear. So it kind of could have come from experience. It could have been something that you read, or had researched, and you wanted to share it. But again, out of fear, you step back. Um, or it could have been just an inspiration. Here's the thing: when it comes from inspiration, you absolutely 100% you want to put that forth, because it's your intuition. You're channeling that information in and through, and it wants to be heard. And so you never really want to stop. You never want to squelch that. Okay, so again, own it. Own those ideas. Own when own that you know your stuff. Own that you are right. Okay. And in those moments, occasionally when you're not right, that's okay too. And I'll get back to that in a moment. But next thing, you've owned it. Now you want to take action. Okay. So take action, speak up, or do the thing that you actually have been putting off, that you are telling other people that you haven't told people, but you really want to. And sorry, I want to get this back in here a little bit more. You want to take action. So make sure you step up, make and speak out. This is a life changer. For me, this was a life changer. Is when I started speaking up and taking action. And I'll give you just a little example. So years ago, I'll put this down. I'll come back to number 5 in a second. But years ago, in the small little town, small little city, let's say, that I lived in, as I was in the business world and was working for other people, it was a chamber of commerce. Was kind of like there. That's where all the smart business people were, right? That was in my mind. That's where people were, right? And I would see these people, and I would think, oh my goodness, they must be so smart. They've been in business for a long time, and they've done very well. They're well known and well regarded within the city. And so my big aim someday was to be on the board for the chamber. Well, when it came time, there came a point where a good friend, she got me in and she had me be an ambassador, and then I moved up and got on the board, and then and it was heading up committees, and also then became vice president. And as that happened, what I realized, because when I first got on there, I was quite intimidated, and because I just thought, oh, these are all the smart business people I've always thought were there, and were just new stuff that I didn't know. Well, it became really clear very quickly that that just wasn't the case. I knew as much as anybody else, in some cases, many cases, much more. And so I started to speak up more, because what happened over and over again is when I didn't speak up, or if I started kind of to say something, or I did say something, and sorry to the men if you're listening to this, but then I'd get passed by, and it was probably because of my confidence level at that moment. But then a guy at the other end of the table would say the same thing, and everybody go, "Yeah, that's a great idea." And I'm thinking, wait a minute, what happened here? So very, very quickly, I started to really, again, just remember that I had those great ideas. I started to own it, and then I took action. I started to speak up. Now, you know what? It's not always going to go your way, right? Sometimes you'll have great ideas, and sometimes they'll, 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 they won't work out, and that's okay. Here's my philosophy on this. Everything is information. Okay, everything is information. We are the ones that assign meaning to it. So in the moment when, no matter what happens, good or bad, but certainly when the bad things happen, you want to practice being a serial optimist. Okay. So what do I mean by that? And I'll put this down for a moment. What I mean about being a serial optimist just means that everything that happens as you are on your path towards your goals, whether that is a promotion or leading a project, or just or getting clients, or being considered for other opportunities, whatever those are, you want to understand that we've heard about fail fast. Okay, so this just allows you to just take action, speak up, blow by the self-doubt, speak up, and again, take action. And when you take action and sometimes it doesn't work, it's just like, great, that one didn't work. Now what's the next iteration here? What's the next thing I need to do? And just go, okay, that was what was meant to happen. I was meant to learn from that. Great. Move forward with it. So no matter what happens, even if it's just like, seems like the absolute worst thing possible thing that can happen, I promise you it's not. And when you become a serial optimist, what happens is you start to ride this wave of good fortune, right? And there's the saying, when things get worse, they get worse and worse and worse. When things get better, they get better and better and better. It's kind of like you're winding up, and that's what we want you to do. By being a serial optimist, we want you to wind up, okay? Wind up on top. wind up at the top of your game and achieving the goals that you want. So those are the 5 steps to overcoming self-doubt in the moment. And I'm just going to recap those. So again, what I want you to do is take some time and look at what are the patterns. What are the times when I most feel self-doubt? Is it speaking to a certain person? Is it in a certain type of situation? Is it in a certain type of environment? Is it after, it's after a weekend? I don't know what it is. Is it first thing in the morning or meetings in the morning not good for you? Start to understand when your prime times are for this, okay? The next thing is I want you to remind yourself, I want you to remember the times when you have had awesome ideas and then you found out later you were right. You may have not presented them at that moment, but in fact you were right, or somebody else presented that idea or took that action and they were bang on. So I want you to remember that as well, okay? Next thing is I want you to own it. Own it, baby. Really, own it. Own your ideas, own your experience, own what you know, what you've learned, what you've researched, and also, most of all, own your intuition, okay? Own that inspiration when it comes in, because I tell you, when you act on inspiration, that is the fastest path to move you to where you want to go. All right. Okay, next thing, take action. All right, speak up or do the thing that you've been doubting yourself about, okay? Whatever it is, just take action as soon as you can, right? As when those ideas come in, take action, move forward. And I think you'll be really surprised by what happens. Don't let self-doubt stop you. And finally, be a serial optimist, all right? So again, no matter what happens, it's all for your good. It's just all information and it's taking you where you want to go, okay? All right. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope this has been helpful. Please, if you are here with me on YouTube, what I'd love you to do is subscribe, like, and comment. Let me know if you've tried this out and it works for you, or you had some challenges, because then I can do some other videos on that. Also, please comment and let me know what other kinds of videos you would like me to do. And most of all, I'm just so glad you're here. Please take action on this. Just to let you know, there's a couple of things here I just want to share. I will have some information down below the video here about how to access more information and other really great useful tips. I've got how to eliminate the 5 habits of self-sabotage. It's an ebook. It's free to use, so there's a link down below. I also have a Facebook group and a LinkedIn group. They're called No Limits Businesswomen. Please come in and join me, whichever platform works best for you. And the last thing is, if you know you are having some troubles with self-doubt, you're self-sabotaging, you're just not feeling the confidence that you would like to feel, and you're not moving towards the goals at the fastest pace that you would like to, let's talk. Come and, there'll be a link down below to connect with me and my team. And what we'll do is we'll just find out whether or not we can help you, whether or not we're a good match. What I do is I work with, I'm basically executive coach, and I work with entrepreneurs and executives, women who are on the fast path, who are ambitious and who want to move faster in their goals. What I've been able to do with so many of my clients is I've helped them reach their goals months and even years faster than they ever thought was possible. So there is a link. You can also just go to nolimitsbusinessconsulting.com/no limits call. And we will, and again, I'll put the link down below so you don't have to worry about it. But, and let's chat. Happy to do that. All right, take care. Have an amazing day and be the awesome person you are. Take care.